when you entered into it, because and you've spoken openly about it recently, your own struggles with addiction. There are a lot of similarities between you and Jack Cunningham in the movie, but it seems like there were two tracks going here as far as your motivation for doing the movie. One is, helping other people, because it's a great message. Even when you talk about your own struggles openly, I think it's a great message for other people to get. It really helps other people. But also, there was part of it was helping yourself. I think that part of it I'm sort of assuming, but I would imagine that it was a productive movie for you to do on that level.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit complicated because, as you say, I'm a recovering alcoholic. I've definitely been through that. I'm very open about it. I don't, and I'm open about it for one reason, because my life is public and that's just the life I live. That's not a choice I made.
Right. Whether you want it to be or not,
right. So it's going to be out there.
Discussed.
So I feel like if that's going to be discussed, then I'm going to discuss it in an open way. And hopefully a byproduct of that is, as you suggest, that somebody might say like, well, if he can kind of like go through it or more specifically really kind of demonstrate that you don't have to be defined by these issues. A lot of people struggle with whether it's addiction or compulsive behavior, shopping, gambling, porn, sex addicts, drugs, opiates, alcohol. I mean, you can see the tendrils of this thing kind of spread out. You see how wide food. I mean, there are a lot of people who are gigantically, obese because they're eating to soothe their pain, not because they're hungry. By the same people, they're people who are starving themselves because they think that gives them some sense of control over them. All these kind of behaviors, I think, extend from a place of people who are suffering in some way or another, and they're trying to find a way to make themselves feel better. And I think the value, if there's value in me talking about being a recovering alcoholic, is that that doesn't have to be who you are. Doesn't have to be the label on your head. I think people are afraid to acknowledge this stuff sometimes because then it becomes like, oh, that's him, he's a drug addict, or oh, that's so and so, they're anorexic. This is so and so, they're he's a compulsive eater, he's a porn addict. Any of this stuff, it's like you are not your problems. I don't want to paraphrase Kanye. You know what I mean? It's like you are a complicated person. Part of that is, yes, the difficulties you face, and a bigger part of that is how you face them, how you get over them. And I mean, if there's anything that I'd like to sort of represent, if there's in terms of my own story, and I'm not really interested in becoming the spokesman for this. I'm not an expert or whatever, but because I made a movie about alcoholism, I think it's incumbent upon me to be honest about it. I would say that I would hope that people can feel like, this doesn't have to be who you are, doesn't have to last, and can get better. Simple.